Good afternoon and welcome to Logan High School for today's Division V Regional Championship action. As you're listening to high school volleyball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority presented by Ohio Health. I'm Shane Combs alongside John Bruce, and we're up top here in the Jim Myers Gymnasium. And John, as I welcome you today, we've got the Adena Lady Warriors coming in at 25-1 against the Panthers of New Lexington, 24-2. And obviously those records tell you what you need to know. Elite Eight. Certainly these two opponents are elite, and it should be a lot of fun to sit back and call this one this afternoon.
Yeah, it should be a great time for sure. And when you say the Elite Eight about these teams, they also come from elite conferences and elite scheduling. So those records are absolutely no joke. Whenever you hear those records from teams from the Scioto Valley Conference and the Muskingum Valley League, it just means these teams are legit, and you're going to see some really good volleyball here today.
Hey, talk to me about these moments. You know, I think of an AFC, NFC championship type of game, or a lot of times it's the step, that final step to the Super Bowl, so to speak. For these high school athletes, that it's that dream of playing in the Final Four. Talk to me about just controlling the emotions and all of those different things from a coaching perspective as you try to get your kids ready to play.
Well, I think the biggest thing that helps is the fact that they played at this place before. So they played here, and at least we'll know what the locker room's like, what the pregame's like, the amount of purple in the gym. They'll know all those things before. So that's a big positive. So that can kind of help ease a little bit of, maybe some of the tension for you as a player and as a coach, where if you're going to a new environment, you just kind of never know how it's going to be. So both of these schools have been here before. To Logan are outstanding teams as well. They've seen each other in person multiple times because they, coming from the Southeast District, have played at Waverly High School and now here at Logan. So the scouting's already been done. All of the prep work's been done. You just got to come out and you just got to play. Now, it can definitely, nerves can get to you a little bit if maybe your first hit goes out of bounds or your first serve goes in the net. So you have to try to do what you can to calm those nerves. One thing that's really going to help these teams is they've got some really good senior leaders on both sides, especially New Lexington. But when you talk about Adena, talk about their seniors.
Well, and we'll certainly get to that in our second segment of the match coverage here in our pre-match coverage, where we'll really break it down. The last question I have for you before we take our first break is, I know you're a big history guy, big on the numbers, so forth. You got a high-level tradition on the Adena side. You know, the New Lex program, obviously no stranger to success, especially here in recent history. Tell me a little bit about the historic part of this and some things that maybe take a look at today.
Well, if you look at who's probably not going to have nerves at this level, you would think Adena. They've been to the state tournament, the Final Four, 11 times. One of the best programs in the state of Ohio when you just look at who's been there the most. New Lexington has not been there. So they're trying to break new ground for their program, where Adena is trying to live up to what their program has been. So there's different types of pressure in that situation, where for Adena, it's kind of expected. For New Lexington, you want to make that the expectation. So different types of pressure on each side should make this a really fun match.
Yeah, I love the way you say that, and we're going to break all that down as we come back here, as we're going to dive deeper into this match, in this incredible matchup, Adena, New Lexington. Make sure you stay with us. We'll take a 2-minute timeout. You're listening to Ohio High School Volleyball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
At Chillicothe Comfort Heating and Air, your comfort is our priority year-round.
Whether it's blazing hot or freezing cold, we've got your back with fast, reliable service you can trust.
Locally owned, honest, and done right the first time.
We have financing options available for every budget, as well as 60 months, 0% interest.
Call us today and feel the difference that comfort makes.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. and 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Have you experienced simply brilliant fiber internet? Yeah, that's Glow Fiber. Lightning fast internet that keeps up with your busy life. A reliable fiber-to-the-home network whether you're working, learning, playing, or streaming. And best of all, Glow Fiber has real local support from real people who are happy to talk to you. And switch now for your first month free. Faster, more reliable fiber internet with real local support. Glow Fiber. Simply brilliant.
Welcome back. Shane Combs, John Bruce here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health. You're listening to Division 5 Regional Championship Volleyball. And, John, I know you had some notes you wanted to really go through and try to really break this down for our viewers today as we're coming up on about 12 and a half minutes on the warm-up clock. I'll kind of pass it over to you and let you kind of break it down, and we'll see if we can't give them a good picture of what they're going to see today.
Well, we talked about the records, 24-2 for New Lexington, 25-1 for Adena, the 1 and 2 seeds in the Southeast District. Shane, can you talk about a little bit of how we got here today to have this outstanding matchup between these two great programs?
Well, you mentioned a little bit. They went through a regular season where they played an incredible schedule and certainly incredible conference schedule. The tournament trail for Adena, they knock off Wellston in straight sets, Memphis in straight sets. Then in the district championship, SVC foe Southeastern in straight sets. And then that's where we picked them up here at Logan. The other night they knock off Union Local 3-1, 26-24, 25-17, dropped that third one 22-25, and then rolled to the 25-16 win. Over on the New Lex side, their tournament trail, they knocked off River Valley in straight sets, Piketon in straight sets, Zane Trace 3-1, and then Wheelersburg's where we picked them up the other night here in regional action, and they knocked them off in 4. It was 25-22, 25-20. They dropped that tight third set, 22-25, and then 1 and 4, 25-20.
Yeah, and then we talked about they're the 1 and 2 seed. So volleyball seemingly has a way to get the favorites to the end. You don't see a whole lot of upsets in there. Why do you think that is more in volleyball than in some of the other sports?
I think it's the nature of the sport, the rally scoring, playing to 25, usually the bigger sample size, the better team seems to find a way to the top. Like you'll see a lot of competitive sets up to 10, up to 15, and great teams seem to have a way to separate themselves around 20 and take control of the set. I also think it's the ability to start over. If you do see a team come out and play way over their head and jump out and win a set 25-18, the scoreboard starts over. You know what I mean? Like, in basketball, I always say, if a kid comes out and gets hot and he or she knocks down 5 threes and their team's up 10 at the end of the first quarter, well, you're facing that uphill battle into the second quarter. In volleyball, so once you got to the regional level, I think it's anybody's games. I don't think we would have considered it an upset to watch a Union Local or a Wheelersburg win the other night, but I do think volleyball has a way of getting its best teams, and New Lex and Adena, in terms of the brackets they've come through, have certainly been the best teams.
Yeah, I like the way you say it, because you could lose 25-0, and that momentum's only going to go so far because, like you said, it does reset. So when we look at this matchup, let's jump to the 1 seed. Let's go to Adena. Why would you like Adena in this matchup if you're looking at the two schools?
If I'm going to look at it through Adena's perspective, I love the tradition factor. I thought you highlighted that in our first segment really well. Here's a team that just went to the Final Four a year ago, seeking its 12th overall trip to the Final Four with a win today. They've done a lot of winning, the 39 district titles, 33 under Coach Smith. Certainly got plenty of tradition. Number 2, you just got to love Katie Burns. You always want to have an elite go-to when it comes to this level, and she provides them that elite weapon, the 3 trips across the front, She can do it a lot of different ways. And then number 3 might even be bearing the lead, because if you really look at the overall strength through all 6 rotations of this team, it's their defense. I mean, when you start talking Kimmy Dalton and J.C. Smith and what they lead in that back row, it's a master class sometimes when it comes to back row defensive play. They're as good a 1-2 punch as you're going to find. The blocking in front of them is usually very well schooled and funneling the hits to where they need to. But those guys do a great job of keeping the ball off the floor.
Yeah, and then now if we jump over to the 2 seed, we jump over to New Lexington. What's to like about the Panthers in this matchup?
I'm going to piggyback off what you said again. Number 1, I think they're a team that's old, but they're a team that's really hungry. This is a team that I've talked to some New Lex people, some great volleyball people, over our time here Thursday night and again today. And you can tell this senior group has been really labeled kind of as a group that they feel like can get them there. And coming up through the ranks, they've done a lot of winning. So they're old, they're experienced, but they're extremely hungry. You could tell there were people packed in here, an hour ago, just jacked up, ready to go today. You can tell that the group's really, really hungry. And then number 2, I love their balance up and down the net. They've got 3 or 4 hitters I honestly think could probably average 4.5, 5 kills per set, but they're going to spread it out between 2.5 to 4 because of how balanced they are. And that's really, really difficult to defend in any sport, volleyball being no different. And then number 3, what makes all that balance go? And there's no way I was going to go through volleyball talk without getting a little setter bias in here. But I'm telling you, if you like setter play, you're really going to enjoy this senior setter, Georgia Burkhart. She's tremendous. She's a 5-1 setter. She's going to spread it out to all of her weapons. She has great chemistry. She understands where each hitter likes to have it. And in the front row, she's a lefty. So when she's live, you better be aware of that second ball. And she's really athletic. It doesn't have to be a perfect pass. She takes a lot of pressure off of her teammates in terms of passing, because if it's anywhere in the area, she'll go get it and still deliver it. So you add all that up, and that's why I would like New Lex.
Well, just to throw it out there for the Adena fans, when you think of that with the left-hander, think about like a Michaela Lovely that they had
absolutely.
A few years ago, the lefty setter at the net, and it's a very similar player. Similarly outstanding is Georgia Burkhart. So now, if we put those things together, what do you think the keys are tonight in this match?
Well, let's start number 1. You touched on it a little bit in the opening there. I think you got to handle the moment. I don't care how many times you've been here or what grade you're in or whatever. Regional championship, your juices are going to get flowing a little bit, right? So number 1, who can handle the moment? Because I look for each set to be pretty tight. These are 2 really good teams. So the margin of error starts to shrink and shrink and shrink as you start to go up the levels of competition. So you don't want to allow yourself to get off to a tough start just because you can't get your heart rate under control, your breathing under control. You want to settle in and have your mind right. Number 2, I'd probably go with who can disrupt those strengths. I just listed 3 things that I liked about both. So that's what makes sports so awesome. You scout those things and you come in and you try to figure out, can you get Adena's defense chasing just a little bit so they can't deliver the ball on target to setters Courtney Sowers and Allie Bossert? If that's the case, now all of a sudden Burns may not get those swings. Jones may not get those swings. On the other side, how do you disrupt Burkhart and the balance I talked about? Again, you try to get them out of system, see if you can't force a free ball here and there so you don't have to guess which dominant hitter the ball's going to go to. So I think it's who can disrupt the strengths that I highlighted there on both sides.
Yeah, and then I hear you talk about the serve and serve receive all the time. How will that impact tonight's match? I know New Lexington very aggressive on the serve.
They were aggressive, and it was interesting to me the other night how many they had in terms of aces and airs. I had not seen that leading up to the match. Some of that could have been, again, the regional stage that I'm talking about. Sometimes, John, if you're missing one being aggressive trying to hit a spot, I see it. Other times you can tell when it's a little bit of a nerve mistake. So, that'll be a big thing today. But when I talk about disrupting the strengths, sure, that's the very first thing. It starts every point, right? There's a serve receive, and no better way to get a team out of system than to serve it tough And if you don't pass it on target, you get that setter chasing a little bit, and that certainly goes. I would even throw this in there as well. Let me throw this at you. Sometimes it's someone else. You know what I mean? We come in today, and we know there's Chloe Dick on the one side. We know that there's Georgia Burkhart. We know Ava Snedeker was outstanding the other night. And, again, you could go right down the entire list. We've highlighted some of the Adena kids. How many times, though, do we see it's someone else that steps up? Maybe on the defensive side at the net today, maybe it's a Wise Cup or a Glandon or a Lee Master. You know, maybe it's I think Gracie Newland's an outstanding libero in the back row. You know, how many times have you seen that in a big stage where it's always someone else, like you leave and think, oh my goodness, that girl right there was the difference in the match today.
Yeah, and that ultimately can be huge if there is one of those players. Like you mentioned, Peyton Leemaster had a big kill to end one of the sets the other day. Can she do it again here today? I know she's probably their number 3 hitter, maybe even 4 behind Jason Smith as well. Maybe it's one of those players that comes up in the biggest moment for them whenever a Burns is at the back. Or, like you said, for New Lexington, you've got a variety who's going to step up for them and maybe be that extra player, the extra piece that puts them into the Final Four for the first time.
Well, I tell you what, let's step away one more time. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, they'll be getting closer to the national anthem and to the player introductions. We're getting excited to bring it to you. About 2.5 minutes away from that. We'll step aside. You're listening to Iowa High School Volleyball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
At North Fork Animal Clinic, we're more than your pet's health care. We're your neighbors. We combine top-quality veterinary care with the availability you can count on, keeping tails wagging and pets thriving. And as proud supporters of youth sports in Southern Ohio, we're committed to helping our whole community grow strong. North Fork Animal Clinic, caring for pets, supporting our community.
For 175 years, the Glockner name has stood for trust. Today, that promise continues. Every time your family turns the key. Generations have trusted us for one reason. We never stopped caring. From preschool drop-offs to road trips, you leave our service center knowing your family is in the safest hands possible. 175 years of social proof that this isn't just service. It's a promise from our family to yours.
Experience the hometown Chevrolet difference. Check out our huge selection of Silverado trucks, Equinox SUVs, and the latest Chevy models. Priced to move and ready to hit the road today. Plus, with the Hometown Advantage, you get free oil changes for life and a 10-year, 150,000-mile limited powertrain warranty at no extra cost. That's real value and real peace of mind. Your hometown Chevrolet is proud to be your trusted local dealer of new and pre-owned inventory, delivering unbeatable deals and top-notch service. Visit us today at 501 West Emmett Avenue in Waverly or start shopping online at yourhometownchevy.com.
Mark. 6 months of training. 8 miles to go. A 3-way tie for almost last place.
Look good in these shorts, right?
And 3 years since he and his team at Ohio Health left cancer in the dust. Richard. Countless nights in the garage. 8 shiny new pistons. 1 very happy 16-year-old granddaughter. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
Rathkamp Financial is a comprehensive financial services firm committed to helping our clients improve their long-term financial success. Our customized programs seek to grow, protect, and conserve our clients' wealth by delivering personalized service and expertise. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member, FINRA SIPC. Please call us at 740-775-1040 to schedule a consultation.
Crowd starts to really fill in here on the near side for New Lex. Glad you're with us here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health, for today's Division 5 Regional Championship volleyball match. Shane Combs and John Bruce. And John, happy to report that one Derek Webb has made it in the house safely. I know he's working really hard this time of year, as is the entire Sosa team. So again, appreciate everybody's efforts to try to get our kids covered throughout our coverage area. I know you take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, it's one of the things we really enjoy here at Southern Ohio Sports Authority. It's really fun to, at times, be able to see some different teams and communities as well that are in our Southeast District. And New Lexington's one of the 5 schools that we don't actually cover in the Southeast District. So pretty cool to get to see them and this great community support that they have here.
Well, it really is. And I've been a volleyball guru. I just love the game. That they've been someone's had my attention over the last couple of years because of how much I've known that they're going to impact our coverage area in some of those areas. So as they go through player introductions, I'll try to give you an idea of the lineup you're going to see us calling for you here today. First on the New Lexington side, John, they'll go with a 5-1 attack. The 5'4 senior Georgia Burkhart obviously plays all the way around as a 5'1 setter. Also playing all the way around is number 8, Chloe Dick, a 5'10 senior. Then as will Caroline Dupler. She'll wear number 11, a 5'8 senior. Then Ava Snedeker, 6'3 sophomore, number 14. She'll play opposite of number 10, Lena Fink. And that's who the libero will pass for, Gracie Newland. So she'll be in both of those spots. Gracie Newland, the 5'4 senior, will serve once. The other night they used number 12, Paige Binkley, the 5'5 senior, to pass in that spot. And then another hitter for them, number 6, 5'7 sophomore, Layla Baker. And again, in the rotation I've seen, number 2, Michaela McCoy, 5'2 sophomore, will do some of the passing. So again, they get them involved. Over on the Adena side, they'll come at it with a 6'2 attack. So you'll see number 1, Courtney Sowers, the 5'4 junior, and number 9, Allie Balsert, the 5'3 sophomore. They'll do the setting across the back row in the 6'2 attack. So hitting for them in the front row will be Addison Wisecup, number 4, a 5'5 senior, as well as number 8, J.C. Jones, a 5'8 sophomore, someone that's really come on this year, is a breakout player. Then the outstanding Katie Burns, number 10, the 5'10 senior, coming off 43 kills the other night. She'll play opposite of number 15, J.C. Smith, 5'4 senior, who also plays all the way around. And then the libero, Kimmy Dalton, 5'3 junior. She'll pass for the tandem of number 11, Caroline Glandon, the 5'7 senior, and number 14, Peyton Leemaster, the 5'9 sophomore. Kimmy Dalton will serve in one of those spots, and then Coach Smith will call on number 6, Ava Farrell, the 5'4 junior, to do some serving. So as you go up and down both rosters, we talked about them being very complete. Not a lot of weaknesses either side, as you would expect at this level. You add all that up, John, and I would think we're in for a pretty entertaining match this afternoon.
Yeah, it should be outstanding. You mentioned the Katie Burns 43 kills and only 4 sets the other day. She was unbelievable. But the balance that New Lexington brought across the front line is very impressive as well. So where a J.C. Jones has got to step up when Burns does go to that back row for Adena to really keep them tight in this game. And we're going to see that back row for Adena really be tested. And I think if you asked Coach Smith before, she'd be happy with that back row being tested because they are outstanding.
Well, the back row is kind of like the annoying little sibling that has all this energy that just always wants to come bug and play. And after a while, I think I see the reaction of the other hitters. You're like, what do I got to do to get a kill? And so a lot of times Adena will just try to outlast you in the point. Now, obviously, New Lex is going to come at them with an attack that not everybody can bring at you, especially from a balance perspective. Other point you make about Burns, I've had a lot of people, John, tell me, well, they know it's going to her. Why don't they sell out on her? Well, teams do. But what happens is because the passing and the setting are so clean, she gets a pretty good look at it. So it's like a great scorer in basketball. Can make the three, can make the mid-range, get to the rim, score in transition, free throw shooter. Man, she's like that. Watch today. She'll hammer away on you. She'll tip it left. She'll tip it right. I mean, she's got a variety in her game with great composure and great vision.
Yeah, just a really solid all-around player. And this is just like a small thing right here. Shout out to Logan. We're going to get started maybe a minute early here today, which you almost never see at this point in the tournament. So it's a great facility. Jim Myers Gymnasium. Keith Myers does a great job, him and his staff here at Logan, to keep this running well, but also providing a really good atmosphere for the teams.
Just about ready to get started. Looks like the down official is set. Rolls the ball back to J.C. Jones of Adena, and she'll be the first to serve. Glad you're with us. Look forward to bringing it to you. Division 5 Regional Championship. We're underway, and just like that, J.C. Smith starts us with an ace on the short serve.
Yeah, good work there from Smith. A very nice serve to start us off here.
J.C. comes back, tries one long, and sells two long. Evens is up one apiece. Now it'll be New Lex' turn to take over on the service line. Dalton on the serve receive. Sowers go outside. Burns will take her first swing of the afternoon. Overpass all the way back over. Warriors back on the attack. Tip from Burns in the middle. Pretty good defense there. Both Fink and Dupler were there. Point New Lex.
Yeah, good work defensively by New Lex to shut down that original attack from Burns.
Dalton on a good receive. Right on target. Burns swinging on the outside for the kill.
Her first kill of the night, as we mentioned a couple of different times, 43 the other night. An Adena record. She's been outstanding throughout her 3 years of varsity volleyball.
Now it's Kimmy Dalton, the libero for Adena on the serve. Going to get a free ball. Adena will look to go quick. It's Burns out of the middle with a swing. Nice dig from Newland. Now it's going to be another free ball. The Warriors will look to play fast. Set in the middle. It's Burns one more time. Now tips to the left. Great play from Burkhart. Both teams play on. Burns one more time out of the middle, and that one catches. Oh, okay. They went long on the one. And so it's going to be the hitting error, point New Lex. The two line judges not on the same page there for a minute, but the one on the back line said it was long.
Outstanding work by Gracie Newland to keep that play alive.
Now they go opposite side. It's Burns and a little roll shot for the kill.
Will be her second kill. And we've seen it so far. She's taken a couple of big swings. And then right there, she goes a little bit short.
Notice how they'll move her up and down the net as well. Now you have Allie Balsert that comes in to serve there. Tough serve. Going to result in another free ball. The ball's not even going to come back. So, again, one of those where maybe not statistically an ace, but certainly the difficulty of the serve from Allie Balsert leads to the Adena point.
Yeah, great work there by Bossert. You see her come in, and she serves a lot of different ways. Good work there.
Short serve. Newland comes up and gets it. Burkhart goes outside. Chloe Dick with a tip shot. Now it's going to be a free ball from the Warriors. Back come the Panthers. Go back outside. Chloe Dick one more time with a good swing and records the kill to tie us up at 4.
Yeah, first kill of the match now for New Lexington. Relied on a couple of different errors from the Warriors. Chloe Dick was outstanding the other day. A good start for her tonight.
Gracie Newland serves it away. Back set, Burns on the tip shot. Dupler digs it up. Now Chloe Dick with the swing. Dug up by Jones. Bossert takes second ball over. Back and forth we go. We play on. To the middle. It's Burns. Blocked in play. Roll shot from Burns. Pretty good rally here. Outside, Chloe Dick will swing. Records the kill.
Well, and that goes to Snedeker right there, as you can just go with her as a solo blocker and you have additional defenders where you don't have to tandem block there. Outstanding work by the 6'3 sophomore.
Burns on the serve receive. Balsert will back set. Burns cross court. Dug up there. Now Chloe Dick with another swing. Dalton with an outstanding dig. Now it'll be a free ball back over. Panthers will look to play fast. Burkhart in the middle to Snedeker. And her swing goes wide as Dalton watches. But no, I'm not sure what the call was there. I didn't catch the signal there, John. I thought they had it wide there.
It was a close fist, so I don't know if it was someone touched the net or said it was a deflection, but they didn't signal a deflection.
Play on now. Jones will take a swing from the strong side. Dupler with the dig. Burkhart bump set. Chloe Dick swings away. J.C. Smith with the dig. Now the bump set gives Jones a swing, and she tools the block there for the kill.
Good work there from J.C. Jones. Her growth from the beginning of the year until now has been exponential for Adena's success. Good start for her first kill.
New Lex is so big across the front row that they'll try to go down the line maybe on him with the setter blocking on the outside. Here goes Snedeker with a tip shot. Diving effort, unable to keep it off the floor there. Gives Snedeker the tip kill.
Good work by Snedeker. You saw her the other day. She gets so high on her jumps that she was hammering it down the other day. Just a nice little tip shot to get the point for the Panthers.
Lefty setter Burkhart back to serve and had some good action on that, leads to the ace.
Yeah, we talked about serve receive. Adena's got to tighten things up.
Dalton steps in and takes this one. Jones out of the middle. Dug up there by Dupler. Outside Chloe Dick on the swing. Adena keeps it off the floor. J.C. Smith will tip it down the line. Back comes Chloe Dick on the outside. Smith with another dig. Fostered in the middle to Jones. Tried to tip it, couldn't get it over top of the 6'3" stretch of Ava Snedeker. And John, just as we saw the other night, the sophomore impacting the net.
Yeah, she just has such great length and athleticism for 6'3".
Burkhart continues to serve. Back set there from Glandon, and again, both Ava Snedeker and Chloe Dick there together. When they put that double block up, you're talking 5'10", 6'3", and I'm going to get an early timeout for Adena. We'll stay right here with you. And John, I know you were high on Snedeker the other night. It's just her energy. Obviously, she can give you a little bit of offensively, but she really impacts the match far more from the defensive side.
Yeah, whatever she can give you offensively is great, but, man, she impacts it so much with that length and timing at the net. So typically you're going to see 5'10" to 6 foot, but she's 6'3" and very athletic as well, moves very well, just a really dynamic player, only a sophomore for the Panthers.
Momentum on the side of New Lex, and a nice crowd in the gym today. This New Lex crowd here on this near side, really big crowd and really into it.
Yeah, and volleyball is one of those games where you can really build off of that momentum and energy that the crowd can bring you, especially if you get down a little bit. They have not gotten down at all here so far today.
John, we talked about on overtime too, these big gyms, a lot of times there's more people here than you think sometimes just because of how big the gym is.
Exactly.
Back to action here. It's going to be Jones in the middle. Swing out of the middle. No touch. Sails long, the hitting air, point New Lex.
And those airs come when you're getting blocked up front. You're trying to put a little more air under it. Ends up being an error.
Dalton on the serve receive. Out of the middle, blocked in play. Now Jones will come again. Dug up by the setter, Burkhart. So Dupler steps in and helps her setter. Chloe Dick swings away. Back come the Warriors. Tip shot Jones. Again, it's Burkhart. Chloe Dick will swing again. Now all the way outside, J.C. Smith will try cross court. Newland with a dig. Now outside for a third time in this rally. Still the defense up to the challenge, and we play on. Burkhart try back row. That was Baker. Now Smith try a little tip shot. And again, you see the defense on both sides up to the challenge. Back and forth we go. The dig totals are going to add up today. Jones on the tip. Snedeker out of the middle. Smith with a dig. Best rally of the afternoon so far. Down the line, great play from Newland. Bump set. Chloe Dick will swing. Dalton with a dig. Burns will send it over from the back row on a free ball. Snedeker on the fake. Again, nice dig from Burns from her defensive spot. Smith up against the big block. Tried to tip it over. New Lex thought they scored a point. The officials didn't agree. We're still playing. Bossert. Middle, Jones, into the net, point New Lex. outstanding effort.
Yeah, just an outstanding effort from both sides. I kind of agreed with New Lex. It looked like the ball hits the top of the tape and rolls over, but New Lex stays with it and ends up winning the point after what seemingly was about 5 minutes.
Adena having trouble getting Burkhart off the service line. The lefty delivers another ace, up to 13-5 now.
Second ace for Burkhart here in this little run.
Now that one serves long, but again, you'll take that risk reward when again you're missing a spot. You're missing that error because you're trying to hit a spot. I don't think that bothers a coach nearly as much.
No, and especially after you get as many plays out of that you got out of Burkhart, you can take one error every once in a while.
Ava Farrell comes in to serve. Newland on the receive. Burkhart back sets there. Dug up by the Adena defense. Smith on the roll shot over. Roll shot here. Burns on the dig. Bump set from Balser. Nice job of staying out of the net, J.C. Smith. But again, the New Lex defense up to the challenge. Smith swings away. Newland with a dig. Well, Dick thought about the swing, ended up the roll shot. Back comes Jones, and again, both defenses just been really good to this point. Great defensive effort at the back row from Farrell. Free ball over. Burkhart into the middle. Snedeker swings away and gets it down inside the block. And nice quick action. Setter and middle hitter John on the same page.
Yeah, and really right now, Adena still playing well, but New Lexington at this point, Burkhart's doing such a great job just finding a variety of hitters until finally finding the right one there, and Snedeker for the big kill, her second.
Chloe Dick back to serve. It'll be Burns on the receive. Balser goes back row to Burns. Dug up by Burkhart. Now it's Baker. Coming in with, changes it up a little bit and rolls it right into the middle of the Adena defense. Give her the kill. And again, some of this balance we're talking about starting to show up.
Yeah, just having the variety of hitters has really paid off for New Lex early.
Burns on the receive. Balser will use a bump set all the way outside J.C. Smith. Newland on the receive, and it looked like we have somebody in the net there.
Yeah, and that's one of those rules where I feel like it's not the same. Kind of like the double hit was for a long time. I feel like they got to get on the same page because sometimes people just don't call it.
Sowers on the serve. She'll do the setting across the back row. Quick action with Snedeker. Good defensive play from Burns. Now Newland on the free ball up to her setter Burkhart. Back set, that's Dupler. Now Adena will free ball it back over. Burkhart, she'll take the second ball over. Sowers steps in from her setter position to dig it up. Now back come the Panthers. All the way outside, that's Baker. And she finds the hole in the defense. And, John, that's that ability to get three hitters going. You could tell the Adena defense really guessing just a little bit.
Yeah, and right now they're really taking advantage of when Burns is at the back row. Some of those shots that J.C. Smith was getting to fall the other day just aren't there so far today.
Paige Binkley makes her first appearance to serve for the Panthers. Lee Master. Nice job staying out of the net, able to tip it over inside the block for the kill.
Yeah, good work there from Peyton Leemaster, only a sophomore. Another one of those, like a J.C. Jones, whose growth throughout the year has really benefited this Adena roster.
As J.C. Smith returns, we've come all the way around our rotations now, so Burns will return to the front row for Adena. Burkhart into the middle. Fink with a big swing. Free ball back over for the Warriors. Back come the Panthers. Go outside. Big swing from Dupler. Good defense there at the net from the Warriors. Right back, and now they're going to go point here. And we'll go back to the Lady Warriors 16-9. And on the okay, they had a rotation question, I think, on that call, but now they seem to get the explanation they want. Burkhart takes second ball over that left hand. That's certainly something to watch. Tip shot from Burns. Now back come the Panthers. Quick action in the middle fink. Great defensive effort from Smith. Free ball over. Now the Panthers will look to go. Burkhart outside. It's Dupler. Dug up by Dalton. Big time swing out of the middle for Katie Burns, and we'll see if that can get her going.
Yeah, only her third kill, but they had a couple of service errors, put her into the back pretty quickly, and that's where New Lexington started to take advantage. But as you said, maybe that's a way to get Burns going.
Smith on the serve. Good serve receive. They'll try. Chloe Dick out of the back row sells long, so now you're at 16-11, and for the first time in quite a while, Lady Warriors starting to enjoy some momentum.
Yeah, it feels like this is the first time they put together 2, 3, possibly 4 more points.
Good serve receive there. Goes outside Dupler. Just inside the diving effort of J.C. Smith to win the point and break a little bit of that Adena rally.
4 different hitters with big swings so far for New Lexington.
Burns, Dalton, and Smith, and serve receive for the Warriors, and that serve from Baker will sell long.
Second service error for the Panthers. 2 aces, 2 service errors. But the aggressive service has also kind of gotten Adena off of their game a little bit early on.
Dalton serves it. Here comes the Panthers on the attack. The Dupler kill attempt was blocked in play. Now a free ball over. The Warriors will look to go. It's Burns out of the middle, and her swing sells long.
It's going to be a 6-point advantage right now for New Lexington. If Adena's going to make a run here in this set, it's going to have to come very soon.
Dupler on the serve. Adena felt like it was going to go long, communicated such, but it finds some real estate inside that back line for the ace.
Third ace for New Lexington.
Caroline Dupler, the 5'8 senior. Serve it once again. Dalton on a good receive. Back set. It's Burns coming cross court, and that sells wide on her. New Lex, the first team to 20 this afternoon, and they enjoy a 20-12 advantage. Dean on the attack here. It'll go back to Burns. Big swing, the double block there, and again, Lena Fink, Chloe Dick putting the double block up and getting the block for a point.
And up to a 9-point advantage for New Lexington. They've done so much at the net so far. That's 3 blocks so far for them, leading to points. And just they've been excellent at the net. And then Burkhart's done a great job as well, finding the different hitters. And that's without Lena Fink getting going at the net hitting-wise yet.
Well, and what's happened there, as you mentioned, Burns and Fink playing there at the same time across the net. You mentioned it earlier. They both got stuck to the back row. The difference being some of that depth that New Lex is bringing there. Snedeker played really well early, and now the size really in all 6 rotations starting to take a toll defensively.
Yeah, and this is one of those things, though. If you're Adena, more than likely this set is out of hand. You're out of timeouts. You're down 9. New Lex has only got to get to 4. But if you're New Lexington, you have to know there's going to be adjustments coming for this Adena team. Will they make those adjustments right now to try to scratch and claw their way a little bit to get a little momentum going into the second? I think we'll see that, as Coach Smith has been here a lot of times and has made some great adjustments throughout her career.
Back to action here. Still be Dupler on the service line. And again, the same spot in the serve receive. Dalton and Burns feeling like it's going to be long, yet it finds that spot for the ace.
The 4th ace already in this set. So we talked about that. That was one of the things we talked about in the pregame.
Now Burns on the receive. Sowers with a bump set. Burns comes in over top of the double block. Chloe Dick swings from outside, dug up by Sowers. Now Burns with a swing. Burkhart comes back, takes second ball over. And they're going to call the double contact there on that ball over the net. Again, if you've been with us throughout the year, they'll pick on that one that goes across the net. You can pretty much do anything you want on your side anymore as long as you just don't blatantly cheat. but if you take it over the net, they'll still call it a little bit closer like they used to. Back comes Fink out of the middle. Block and play for Burns. Actually blocked for a point as they can't keep it off the floor. Nice job, Katie Burns, defensively.
Yeah, really good work there by Burns. Good timing. And one of the things that makes New Lex difficult to defend also is their hitters all have different timing on their hits as well.
Short serve. Chloe Dick on the swing. J.C. Smith with the dig. Back and forth. And again, some communication from Adena. You just don't see it very often, but the ball hits the floor there. 23-14. New Lex now 2 points away from taking the opening set.
Yeah, by my count, that's 3 different times they've had some communication errors, which you almost never see.
There's a wide serve that catches just inside the line. Give Gracie Newland the ace, and the big New Lex crowd comes to their feet as they look to celebrate what they hope is a first set point for the victory. It'll be their senior libero, Newland. Serves it away. Left hand tip shot from Jones. Now Snedeker will roll it over. Back comes. And that'll do it. Had a violation there at the net. 25-14. The Panthers take the first set for Adena. Shane Combs, John Bruce, make sure you stay with us. We'll be back. Tell you about that first set and bring the second set action to you. You're listening to High School Volleyball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Since 1853, Tomlinson Insurance has been protecting families, farms, and businesses in our community. As an independent agency, we offer personalized coverage for your auto, home, farm, and business, plus health and life insurance too. And we proudly partner with Erie Insurance to give you peace of mind with reliable coverage at competitive rates. Tomlinson Insurance. Let our history be your future. Call us today at 740-773-4181 or visit us at tomlinsonins.com.
Wendy's has new chicken tenders. Crispy, juicy, tendery tendies. Ooh, that's fun to say. Tendies, tendies, tendies. And they're so good, maybe we should change our... For tendies you're gonna know by name, gotta be Wendy's.
Back with you here at Logan High School inside the Jim Myers Gymnasium. Shane Combs, John Bruce, and after one set, New Lexington out in front with a 25-14 victory. And John, just as we talked about in the pre-match coverage, I felt like Adena's overall defense was up to the challenge on many occasions, but New Lex showing some defense of its own and that great size and depth across the net, as well as some tough serving. You add it all up with a pretty dominant performance for the Panthers there in that opening set.
Yeah, it was very dominant, and that's one of those things you don't see a lot against Adena. They've lost some sets here and there throughout the season, but only the one loss coming to Shekinah Christian. Overall, though, it was the communication was the biggest thing in that opening set for Adena. When things started to go bad, it just felt like the communication kind of broke down a little bit. Coach Smith had to use her 2 timeouts early and couldn't get them back together. And now that's what this big 3-minute break in between sets is so important for Adena, is to rebuild that communication, because we've seen it all year from them. They just can't have that because this New Lexington team is way too good to give them anything.
Well, I believe, if I remember right from the other night, I don't have it in front of me now, I think that's only like the 12th set that Adena's lost all year long. So as some of those points were going on, the defense was keeping the ball off the floor, and we had some really long rallies. But again, it's who can outlast who and who can not mess up. Where I really liked New Lex in that first set was they didn't have nearly the errors that kind of kept Wheelersburg hanging around the other night. So I thought that was as clean a set as I've seen the Panthers play here in terms of the film I've watched on them coming in, as well as the match we called the other night.
Yeah, they were pretty error-free throughout. They only had the 2 service errors, and really they didn't really have the hitting errors. So despite how outstanding the back row defense was for Adena, they're still just getting a lot of swings, and they're keeping themselves in it by keeping those swings in play.
Down official gets the lineup set. Newland will go ahead and check in on the libero spot. Got Dalton in on the other side wearing the different collar jersey. Second set will start with a Gracie Newland serve. Comes down the line off the hands of Katie Burns and out of bounds for the ace. And Gracie Newland, just as she impacted the end of that first set, starts the second set the same way.
Her second ace right there.
Tries the same type of serve. That one catches the tape and falls down in favor of the Lady Warriors to tie us at 1.
Let's see if Adena can take advantage of that early break.
Emmy Dalton, a little bit of a risk-reward serve herself, but does it at pretty good efficiency, really. Probably one of the top serves. That one just goes long on her. So they give the service error right back, and New Lex back out in front, and it'll be Baker back to serve. Burns up to Sowers. Now Burns will follow it in. Big swing, great defensive effort from Baker. Burkhart chases it down. Adena will get a free ball over. Into the middle. Burns has to roll shot it over. Quick set in the middle, and Lena Fink right on top of it. Hammers it into the back corner for a kill. And again, you said it, John. She didn't even really get a lot of opportunity in that first set. But we watched the other night, and we see there on that swing, she can really take over a set.
Yeah, she played really well the other night. That's her first kill. Really impressive that they put together that first set without Fink being that involved.
Burns up to Sowers. Burns will follow it right up into a swing. And again, the double block, the size. That time Fink and Dupler up there. It looks like from the reaction that Fink got the majority of it. And Panthers out to a 4-1 advantage. Again, they go wide, and that one again catches. So we watched it the other night. They had a lot of errors mixed in this afternoon, doing an outstanding job of hitting their spots. That time, Baker sneaks one right inside the line for the ace.
Seventh ace already for New Lexington.
Again, goes the other side. That time sells long for the error.
Yeah, 7 aces to the 4 errors so far, and I think you take that because it's also not just the aces, but you're also getting them out of system a lot with the aggressive service.
Making it very difficult for them to get in the rhythm they want, to get Burns the type of swings they want. I agree. Burkhart with the bump set. Chloe Dick from way out behind the 10-foot line. Now Burns in the middle. She swings away. And it looks like we have a tip from the back line judge signal. Therefore, that out of bounds will give Burns the kill.
Her 4th. That's a pretty big call right there because it swings it from 6-2 to 5-3 now.
Ballstert on the serve now. Set outside. Chloe Dick dug up by Ballstert. Now Jones. It's up to Burkhart. She'll take the second ball over and finds the kill again. Burkhart from that front row on the jump set becomes live. Dumps it right into the hole. Well done.
And she really took her time because she got called for the double hit or the double contact earlier. Takes her time and finds a perfect spot.
Back come the Warriors. They go in the middle, tight to the net. That was Glandon. Free ball's going to come back over to the Warriors. Now Ballstert, middle to Burns and a swing, and that ball sails long.
Yeah, they're not getting a ton of blocks at the net, but those blocks they've gotten are causing Burns to try to put a little more on it, which is putting a lot of these long, leading to the errors.
A lot like a shot blocker in basketball. You know they're there. Back come the Warriors. They go outside. Jones on a swing, and that ball goes cross court to sails long. Another hitting error for the Warriors. 8-3 advantage for New Lex. Tough serving for New Lex continues. This time it's Dupler. She'll go at Burns. And Adena, Ballstert tried to tip it over, but again, the size just engulfs Adena at the net. And going to force a timeout with New Lex up 9-3. And John, if you look at it, really, if the ball's going to get tight to the net in those situations, Adena doesn't really have an answer for that size. They're going to have to clean up a little bit of the passing and try to get in a little bit of a faster system. And but I'll tell you, the thing that's really jumped out at me is the service game of New Lex has really made it difficult for Adena to do that. And you don't see that with the Adena passing game very often. So that tells you how elite the serving's been.
Yeah, it's one of the things that Adena does at such a high level is the passing, and it just hasn't been to their level so far in this match. I will say right now, just looking down, Coach Smith obviously getting the team together, but you could see the seniors were taking over before Coach Smith comes in and trying to talk with everybody, and that's what you need. You need the senior leadership. They've played a lot of these matches. They haven't been down like this a whole lot in their careers, but that communication is what you're going to need. You need everyone on the same page playing well to beat a team at the level that this New Lexington team is at right now.
Yeah, you follow this New Lex team throughout the year. Their only 2 losses are to Meadowbrook, both times in 5 sets. So they have knocked off some really, really impressive opponents. Back to action will be Burns on the opposite side, dug up by Newland. Now Fink in the middle again, open net, and just swings away. And New Lex in total control of the match and the second set.
Yeah, Burkhart putting it wherever she wants, and then a big kill there from Lena Fink.
Now to Dalton on the receive. They go outside Jones. Dug up by Dupler. Burkhart will chase it down. Chloe Dick from the outside, blocked in play from the Warriors. Now Fink in the middle. Blocked in play again by Burns. Chloe Dick on the roll shot, and she finds a hole in the defense for the kill.
Yeah, you can kind of see why the numbers for New Lexington, when you look at the kills per set, aren't that high, because they have so many different players that can impact at a time.
Certainly can. They can balance it, and they can really serve it as well. Back come the Warriors here. In the middle, it's Glandon on a swing. Nice defensive effort. Burkhart takes second ball over. It's Burns in the middle, and she hits her spot. That's one of the first times she's been able to swing freely tight to the net without a big block up there, and she takes advantage.
Yeah, for the most part, she's been trying to have to pick her spots. That time she was able to eye it out and then hammer to that spot.
Burns on the serve, Newland on the receive. Burkhart, back set Fink, dug up by Dalton. Balsert in the middle, it's Jones with a big swing, and she'll get the kill. So J.C. Jones, the 5'8 sophomore, has really come on throughout the year, pushing almost 3 kills per set. That would be a good sign for the two-shade blue if she could get going.
Yeah, only her second so far. Not a lot going for Adena, but if they can get rolling here.
Burns serves it into the net for the air, 12-5. And again, you add in the difficulty of the New Lex serve, and you feel like that's been a part that the Panthers have really controlled here in the early going. Balsert, middle to Jones. Swings just off the dig attempt there of Michaela McCoy for the kill.
Yeah, this is a time where Adena's got to make a run to try to chip away at this lead. You're down 6. If you can get this down to 2 or 3 before you give up the point, then at least you have a little bit of momentum going in.
Ava Farrell into the game to serve. Now it's Snedeker with a big swing just over the tape, and it rolls down for the kill.
But hard to get that momentum when kind of unlucky plays like that happen on the Adena side. Fortunate for New Lex, but that's also why you hit with power, so it can break through that tape.
Serve receive from Burns there, and a little bit off target, finds the floor, and again, this rotation with when Burkhart goes back to serve has really started to cause the Warriors some fits. There's another one. And again, sometimes statistically, John, it's one of those I always put a little question mark next to. You can call it whatever you want stat-wise. It was the serve that scored the point.
Yeah. And this is kind of when they took over in the first with Burkhart.
Balsert runs it down, free ball over from Dalton. Newland Passes it up to Burkhart. Quick action out of Snedeker in the middle, and again, kind of catches the tape. And again, it's the size, not just the power. It's that height that she's hitting the ball from, but it just kind of sneaks down through the tape, and it's been all New Lex. 16-6 now here in the second set. Balsford will take the second ball over. Dupler will step in and set it up. Chloe Dick on the swing. Now it's Smith on the outside. Back comes the Panthers. In the middle, it was Baker with a two-hand push shot. Now Jones of Adena will swing. Burkhart there defensively. Chloe Dick on the outside with the roll shot, dug up by Smith. Balsford into the middle. It's Jones blocked. In play, falling for the point. Again, Ava Snedeker was there. And she's just really, really impacted the net for in her time and her 3 rotations across the front. Now the Warriors on the attack. Lee Master on the swing, and that ball sails long. 18-6. New Lex starting to run away with it here in the second set, preparing to take a 2-0 lead in the match. Burkhart continues to serve. Balsert pushes it outside. It's Lee Master. Line judge right on as it hits the antenna, which is going to be the hitting error, and another point for New Lex.
Yeah, this will be the last timeout of the set for Adena, and it's just been all New Lex so far. Very impressive what they've been able to do. But part of the thing we talked about in the pregame, you're playing to 3. So even though Adena has not played well so far, New Lexington has played extremely well so far. Adena, all they got to do is get to 25 first in the next 2 sets after this one to have a chance. So you're restarting after this, despite the fact that New Lexington has utterly dominated this match so far.
Dominant's the fair word. I mean, it's been so complete. It starts in the service game. Their serve is absolutely dominated the serve receive of Adena, which is something you rarely see. And then obviously when the ball goes live, they enjoy some height advantage up and down the net, really, in all 6 rotations because of their balance. So when Burkhart in the 5-1 attack is setting across the back row, you have the 3 hitters coming. When she's in the front row, she has the 2 hitting options, but then she's also, as that lefty, as we've seen, her ability to go up and take that second ball over. So we're just seeing it in a lot of different areas. New Lex has been very impressive. Back to action there. Burkhart will serve it away. Now Lee Master will swing from the outside, give Dupler the dig. Chloe Dick will swing that outside. Great defensive effort from Dalton. Burns will try the back row. Again, Dupler with a dig. Chloe Dick there had to make an adjustment. Tried the 2-hand push down the line and went just wide on her for the air, and a point for Adena.
Yeah, something we haven't seen a lot is those errors, but whenever you've got a Kimmy Dalton just flying around defensively, sometimes you have to take some different choices, and that one just didn't work out for Chloe Dick and the Panthers.
Courtney Sowers in to serve, and she'll set across the back row for the Warriors. Chloe Dick with the swing, good dig from Dalton. Now Lee Master in the middle, Dupler with another dig. Quick action in the middle to Snedeker, and you just love, John, how she comes right up on top of her setter. Burkhart, as I said in the pre-match, knows exactly what each hitter likes to have, and that time they were on the same page, and very, very impressive.
Yeah, very pretty whenever they can get on the same page like that, and literally nothing you can do defensively.
Serve receive off target there, going to result in a free ball. Here come the Panthers again. Again, it was the quick action, but if they go with the back set to Dupler, give Snedeker a lot of credit. She went to freeze the block, and I said the other night, if you love setter play, man, Burkhart's good.
Yeah, outstanding setter, and really is what makes this New Lexington team go, but man, pretty much everyone is.
Serve into the net. We'll put the 8th point on the board for the Lady Warriors, and J.C. Smith will head back to the service line.
I may have hit it a little quick over here on the scoreboard.
Newland on the receive, Burkhart in the middle to Snedeker. That time they weren't quite on the same page, but gives Snedeker a nice adjustment for the kill. Well done.
Yeah, kind of awkward looking, but whenever you elevate like Snedeker does.
Newland on the serve. Burns will swing on the outside. She goes cross court. Ball finds some real estate for the kill.
Her 6th. See if Adena can get a little bit of momentum going into the 3rd with a good finish here in the 2nd.
Kimmy Dalton, just a junior, already over 1,000 digs. Serves it away. Burkhart back sets Baker, blocked in play by the Warriors. Fink trying to stay out of the net, unable to bump it up in play, and that ball will fall in the favor of the Warriors for the point. 22-10. Dalton will continue to serve. Newland watches it wide, and that ball goes out for the service there. And again, New Lex in a position to push 2 to go up 2-0 in the match. B. Baker all the way back on the end line to serve it away. Overpass on the serve. Receive came right back. Adena will still have a chance. Burns, a little bit of a roll shot from the opposite side. Burkhart brings it up. Dupler tries to come and keep it in play with a roll shot. Now Burns with a big swing. Give Chloe Dick the dig, and then one of the few mistakes you'll see from Burkhart in the ball handling. She tried to go at the bump set, John, and just ended up kind of not really getting a good contact on it.
Yeah, as you said, one of the rare mistakes that she's made. She's been unbelievable in the 2 matches that we've seen here at Logan.
Once Baker serves, it's always Michaela McCoy to come into the back row to defend for her, so she's now in. And there's Burkhart on that second ball with the left hand, as we've talked about. She tools the block, give her the kill from her setter spot, and here we are at set point for what's been just an absolutely impressive performance from New Lexington. It'll be Dupler. She serves it away. Burns on the receive. Balsert, back set, Burns, swings away. Burkhart with the dig. Tight to the net. Ball comes all the way down and hits the tape and comes back on New Lex's side. So Adena for now has survived 1 set point. New Lexus still has them doubled up at 24-12. Burns the serve. Newland on the receive. On target to Burkhart. Chloe Dick with the big swing, and she tools the block out of bounds, and that'll do it. We played 2 sets. It's been all New Lexington. They lead at 2-0. Shane Combs, John Bruce. Make sure you stay with us for set 3 as you're listening to the Division 5 Regional Championship Volleyball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Mark. 6 months of training. 8 miles to go. A 3-way tie for almost last place.
Look good in these shorts, right?
And 3 years since he and his team at Ohio Health left cancer in the dust.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie & Son Trucking. Willie & Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student-athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week presented by Willie & Son Trucking each week at sosaohio.com.
Welcome back inside the Jim Myers Gymnasium. Shane Combs, John Bruce here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority presented by Ohio Health. And John, we're just talking there on the break. Everything about New Lex today has just been impressive. Service game, check. Defense, check. Net play, unbelievable, both offense and defense. And, you know, look, Adena defense is competed pretty well across the back row as we expected, but they just haven't really been able to present any type of challenge that takes the attack back at New Lex to put them off balance. And as a result, New Lex has pretty much been able to do whatever they want.
Yeah, doing whatever they want is a good way to describe that, Shane, because you're picking a variety of hitters, and it's kind of whoever they go with is getting going. So Snedeker leads them with 6 kills, only 6 kills through the 50 points so far. Is their leader, but it's because Burkhart has been outstanding. She's finding who she wants, when she wants. There's a couple times she's just kind of gone to the back row, and it's not even looking like they're looking to attack. And she's just making the right choice, the right read. It's like watching a 4-year starter at quarterback who just is finding wherever they want to go, just picking apart the defense. And if you can pick apart this Adena defense, that's how impressive they've been so far.
Well, and another sports analogy I would use, it's kind of like when you have a point guard that's the willing passer ahead, you get more teammates willing to run the floor. What I love about New Lex, I said this the other night, they constantly have every hitter go, but I think it's because they honestly think I might get the ball right here, because she does spread it up and down the net, and she'll use the quick set, she'll use the back set, and man, it just keeps the defense so off balance. And when the block is having trouble getting set, then that back row just becomes the firing squad at that point.
Yeah, it just made them very impressive so far. Adena only with one ace as well so far in this match.
Third set, J.C. Smith serves it away. It's going to be a roll shot opportunity. Dupler tried to do all she could with it, hits it into the net, and the Warriors out to the 1-0. And John, it goes without saying, you're down 2-0 in the match. You'd really like a fast start if you're the Warriors.
Yeah, that's what you need. That's how Wheelersburg was able to take their set over New Lexington, was a fast start.
Again, kind of sloppy serve receive there, and J.C. Smith has them out to the 2-0 advantage. Smith will serve it away again. Newland on the receive. Burkhart in the middle. Fink has to tip it over. Now back comes Burns with a tip in the middle. And again, you could kind of see, because of the lack of attack from New Lex, it was Adena that actually got the come-in system. And that attack looked far better in terms of where they wanted to come from and what they wanted to do with it.
Yeah, 100%.
Smith continues to serve. Tight to the net. Burkhart takes it over. Probably should have been a back row attack. Now they got it. So, yeah, she was coming out of the back row. They missed it momentarily. Now they got it. Might have had an assist from across court there from the Adena bench, but they got it. 4-0. Smith continues to serve, and again, serve receive sloppy. Going to be a free ball. Adena with another opportunity, yet they have a ball handling mistake. Another free ball. Here come the Panthers. Burkhart, back set Baker. Give the dig to Smith. Sowers in the middle to Burns. Burkhart there to get the Burns tip. Back and forth we go. Defense has been solid. Both teams struggling to get the attack, and finally Burns gets a big swing and tools the block as the ball sails all the way out of bounds. And if you're the Warriors, just what the doctor ordered for you in terms of the 5-0 advantage.
Well, they're finally getting the setters in a good position. Courtney Sowers has been outstanding all year, finally getting to get Burns set up the way she needs to.
Burkhart tries to go low set in the middle. Fink there just a little bit late, knocks it into the net for the hitting error, and a 6-0 going to get a timeout for New Lex. And John, you talked about it. You look down at the stat sheet, and the math teacher will tell you it's been 50-26 in terms of volleyball today. But we start over. We talked about this in terms of the what makes volleyball unique. Brand new life for Adena. You're out to a 6-0 advantage. Can you ride this momentum and get this third set and stay in the match?
Yeah, and if you can do so, then it starts to put a little pressure on New Lexington, where New Lexington hasn't gotten to that Final Four before, where the first two sets they're playing free and easy, because at no point were they down by more than a point in those two sets. So at no point have they had to communicate. They hadn't had to use a timeout until just now. But the service of J.C. Smith so far in this set is keeping New Lexington out of system, which they have not been pretty much throughout the entire match so far, and that's what's jumped this out to a 6-0 lead for Adena.
As we return to action out of a timeout, Smith still on the service line. Newland on the receive up to Burkhart. She goes outside. Dupler, two-hand push. Dig by Dalton. Burns in the middle with a big swing. Give Burkhart the dig. Baker steps in to help her setter. Dupler on the roll shot over. Going to be a free ball coming back from the Warriors. Burkhart set in the middle to Fink. Burns on the block, and the line judge says it went wide out of bounds, which will give the kill to Fink.
very tight, but that's why the line judge is right on the line as they are.
Baker back to serve. Serves it away. Dalton. Going to be a free ball here for the Warriors, so New Lex going to have a chance to go. Outside, it's Dupler on a swing. Up off the top of a late Adena block. Sails all the way long for the kill. Block just a half second late getting there.
Third kill for Dupler.
Baker once again into the net and falls.
The 6th service error to 9 aces, so kind of keeping track of that throughout.
Kimmy Dalton back to serve for the Warriors. Pass up to Burkhart. Block and play. No, block for the point as it comes down. It looked like Burns and Glandon were up there together.
Yeah, good work there by the seniors to go up. Now still out to a 6-point advantage for the Warriors.
Good receive by McCoy that last time for New Lex. Let's see if they go there again. And they do, right in the middle of them, and McCoy and Newland not on the same page. And Kimmy Dalton adds to that ace total that leads the Warriors.
Yeah, Dalton, a very aggressive server so far. This is the first time, really, we've seen miscommunication out of New Lexington as well. Adena needs to keep adding on to take advantage of it.
Dalton up over 80 aces on the season. This time Newland with a good receive. In the middle to Dupler. Great defensive effort from the setter Sowers. And then Glandon with a nice swing from the outside. Finds a hole for the kill. And again, that nice offensive production coming. We always talk about it's not the number of kills they get, it's more the efficiency they do it with. And there's an example. We see Caroline Glandon defensively a couple points ago, this time offensively.
Yeah, big play there from the senior. She gets the block and then the kill right there.
Dalton on the serve, and that one does sell long. So 10-3, Adena out in front as Dupler will come back to serve. Got Burns, Dalton, and Smith in the serve receive across the back. It'll be Dalton. Good pass up to Sowers. Katie Burns with a big-time swing cross court, and the dig attempt sells long. And, John, that's that rotation where on that first ball over, she comes out of the opposite side, and the New Lex block, not quite aware of it quick enough to get the block up.
Burns, that's her 9th kill. She had 3 in each of the first 2 sets, 3 already here in the third.
Burkhart pushes it all the way outside, tight to the net. Chloe Dick on the swing. That was, again, Caroline Glandon having a third set, giving her team quite a spark, and it's going to force yet another timeout for Melissa Board, head coach New Lexington. And John, we talked about in the pre-match coverage, sometimes you need someone else. Talk to me about Caroline Glandon there.
Yeah, and Glandon's a player who last year started to get a little more time. I think a little more in the Peyton Leemaster role, where it's kind of that third or fourth hitter with some length that can give you a blocker as well. And here in the third, she's really stepped up. 2 blocks and a kill for the senior, and that's really pretty much what she averages a match. So she's giving exactly what Adena needs right now in the perfect time. You have the 4 seniors for Adena, all of them stepping up here in what could be their last set because they don't want to be done. Good time out there for New Lexington because you want to try to calm any momentum Adena's got. And if they can keep building off of this, then Adena's going to feel like, hey, we can win 2 more of these.
Allie Balsert will be your server as the teams come back on the floor after that New Lex timeout. Now they're ready to go. The up official will give the okay to go with it. Dupler on the receive. Burkhart back set Fink, and they had a nice quick action set up, but again, just not quite on the same page. Results in the hitting error. 13-3, Adena by 10. Balsert will try the short serve. Newland comes up and gets it. A little shoot set outside. Chloe Dick on the outside swing, and again it's Glandon there with Burns, and it looks like Glandon got another one.
Yeah, just outstanding work by Caroline Glandon. And you can just see with Adena, their body language has completely changed here in this set.
Newland with another good receive. This time back set to Fink, and again, this one sells long, so trying to use Fink out of that opposite side. The one low set, she hit in the net. They tried to go a little higher there, and she went long, and what was good rhythm early has started to get out of system a little bit. Burkhart. Now Chloe Dick on the swing. Dalton on the dig. Now it's Burns out of the middle with a big-time block there. Fink was up there. It looked like Lena Fink and Chloe Dick together on the double block. Couldn't tell exactly who got it, but again, these double blocks, the size they're coming at, just what a challenge. Dalton on the receive. Now Burns. She tried to tip it over. Again, that ball just had her a little out of rhythm, and now it's 15-5 after the hitting error.
Well, it's the first time Snedeker's been on the floor here in the set. She doesn't get the block there, but impacts the play.
Free ball coming back for the Warriors. Burkhart tight to the net. Snedeker has to pop it up. Burns up there at the net, just kind of back and forth. Now we get the first real attack of the volley from Chloe Dick. Adena pops it up. Jones on the swing on the outside. Now a roll shot over the top. They keep it off the ground. New Lex wanted a little bit of a carry. Now Snedeker in the middle. She was coming to her setter. Burkhart was expecting her to go a little bit straighter to the net, and as a result, probably go down as a setting error, which, again, you don't see much from Burkhart. But, again, it's just communications, really what it is.
Yeah, just a rare miscommunication error from New Lexington.
Burns on the serve, tight to the net. Burkhart did all she could to just stay out of the net, and it's going to result in the point.
Yeah, this is the first time New Lexington has really struggled with the serve receive, as Burkhart has not been in a very good position so far.
Burns right over the top of Newland. Newland decided to duck out of the way and let it go. That ball had a little bit of late life to it. Falls in for the ace. Burns again. Dupler on the receive. Now it's Chloe Dick hitting on opposite that time. Again, a lot of these rotations where they'll use them different spots out of that first ball over, and you just got to be aware of it. That time she gets a kill.
Yeah, good work there by Chloe Dick, her fifth.
Now back come the Warriors. It's Jones in the middle with a big swing, a little bit of an overpass. Jones goes up, but still play on. Good defensive play from Dalton. Smith with a tip over the top. Snedeker just so big you almost can't tip it over. Now it's a roll shot. Burns with the dig. Balsert does a nice job keeping it on her side. Jones left hands it over. Chloe Dick on the big swing on the outside. And again, the defensive effort. Caroline Glandon just having an outstanding trip across the front row as she'll sub out there. This is the rotation that Ava Farrell comes in, and you can tell, John, as she goes over to the bench, that her teammates really appreciate that effort.
Just awesome effort from Caroline Glandon here in the third.
Farrell on the serve, and again, sloppy serve received from the Panthers. Now Balsert into the middle to Jones. Big time swing, falls for the kill.
Well,
J.C. Jones.
This is really the first time, as I said earlier, where the setters for Adena have been able to do kind of what Burkhart's been able to do. They've gotten excellent passing to them, and it's been able to set up their hitters.
Burkhart outside. That's Baker on a swing, and she'll swing away and deliver a much-needed kill for the Panthers, just trying anything they can do to get back in this third set as the Warriors enjoy a comfortable 13-point advantage.
Yeah, this has been an outstanding set so far for the Warriors, but you don't want to give New Lexington any room. You want to keep that pressure on them throughout this.
Balsert back set Jones. Burkhart with the dig. Now it's Dupler tight to the net, tips it over. Balsert pops it up, gives Burns a back row swing for the kill. Well done, Allie Balsert. She recognized she wasn't going to be able to go to any front row hitter. She knew she had Burns in the back, and she pops it up into a good spot for her to swing at it.
Yeah, outstanding work by the sophomore Balsert.
Courtney Sowers will come in and serve, and then she'll take over the setting duties in this 6-2 attack. Serve has Burkhart there. Back set, Snedeker. She swings cross court and delivers the kill. So Gives Snedeker that kill. She'll check out. She plays in that libero spot, and this is where Newland serves the one-time through. This time it'll be Paige Binkley, the 5'5 senior, that serves in that other spot. And she serves, and the ball sails long as J.C. Smith and Kimmy Dalton, just as you're taught, follow it all the way to the line and communicate.
Well, that's the second service error in this set, but no aces. They've had an average of 4 aces in the first 2 sets, each of the first 2 sets, none so far in this one, which is why they have not been able to get any movement.
You score 8 points, you don't serve as much.
That's very true.
Nice swing from Baker from the opposite side. Good defensive effort there. Wisecup tries a roll shot from the strong side position. Comes up in the net for the hitting error. 22-9. Warriors lead cut to 13. Baker on the serve. Burns on the receive. Sowers outside Burns. Tries middle, and it sails just long. Nice job in the back row there of recognizing the ball sailing long. Lets it go. The hitting error results in the new Lex point. Baker one more time. Dalton this time on the receive. Sowers will go outside, strong side attack from Burns, blocked in play. Now Burns will push it across to Dupler. Now it's Fink in the middle, and she finds a hole just in front of the diving Dalton.
Yeah, first time the Panthers have put together 3 points in a row here in this set.
Baker tried to go at Burns over there on the side. Burns lets it go wide for the service error. 23-11 as Kimmy Dalton will head back to serve, trying to get Adena on the board as they trail 2-0. Dalton with a deep serve, and that ball sails long. And again, she's fought that a little bit today. 23-12, and it'll be Dupler's turn to go back. Service line. Burns on the receive, popped up by Sowers. Burns will two-hand push it back to Newland in the back row. Chloe Dick on the outside with a tip shot blocked in play. Now the ball scrambles, but the Adena defense at least keeps it off the floor and free balls it over. Burkhardt in the middle to Fink with a big-time swing. They say they have a deflection there, which is going to result in a kill for Lena Fink.
Her third of this set. She's the only one with multiple kills in the set for New Lexington. That's another one of those players, if they can get going, makes them very dangerous in the fourth and beyond.
Burns on the receive, popped up there with a bump set from Sowers, blocked in play. Burns sets it over. Like Glandon on the outside there. Now Chloe Dick off the top of the block, but a nice diving effort from Smith keeps it off the floor. Now Burkhardt will send it back out, give Chloe Dick another swing, and that time she delivers right into that back corner, well placed.
Yeah, and even though they're down substantially, this is good for New Lexington because they're starting to kind of get back a little momentum that they lost as they got down by so much here in this set.
Dupler with a long serve right over top of Dalton. It falls in. Give Dupler the ace, 23-15, and if you're Adena, you don't want to let them back into this one or this could get tight. Dalton on the serve receive, unable to pop it up to the setter. Dupler doing a nice job of changing it up a little bit. And we're going to get a timeout, Coach Smith, as things are starting to get a little closer than I'm sure Adena expected them to here in the third set.
Yeah, they were just rolling with so much confidence, and they're very comfortable. And now New Lexington getting a little bit of their groove back that they had throughout the first 2 sets, where they completely dominated. Adena had done the exact same in this one. They had completely dominated, and now a little bit of momentum going for New Lexington. They've got to start feeling pretty good. That more than likely, this is going 4. But now you can say, they gave us their best shot. We made a nice little run there at the end, and now we're going to come right back at them. Where with what Adena was doing early in that set, it felt like, man, that could be one of those things that almost buries a team, even though they have the advantage.
You know what's funny, John, is you and I've worked so much with kids. It's just that human nature. You kind of get up, you let down, then you come back, you see the other team let up a little bit, and it's just a matter of keeping that. It's all cliche, but it's so true, just keeping the focus here. So you come out of the timeout. Let's see if New Lex can continue the momentum, and Dupler serves it in the net, and if you're the Lady Warriors, you'll certainly take that because it puts you on the doorstep of this third set now at set point.
Well, that's their fourth service error of this set.
Alstert on the serve, and it's a good one, and it's an ace. Allie Balsert, the 5'3 sophomore, gets her team on the board with a 25-16 advantage. It's still New Lex up 2-1 in the match, but the Lady Warriors do respond. They'll try to stay in it here in set 4 as well. Please don't leave us. I think we'll have a good one for you. Shane Combs, John Bruce, you're listening to Division 5 Regional Championship Volleyball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
At Chillicothe Comfort Heating and Air, your comfort is our priority year-round.
Whether it's blazing hot or freezing cold, we've got your back with fast, reliable service you can trust.
Locally owned, honest, and done right the first time.
We have financing options available for every budget as well as 60 months 0% interest.
Call us today and feel the difference that comfort makes.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
Welcome back, Logan High School inside the beautiful Jim Myers Gymnasium. Shane Combs, John Bruce, here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health. Well, John, the first 2 sets, all New Lex, completely dominant, 25-14, 25-12. But just as you'd expect, a program with the great tradition of the Adena Warriors, they respond in set number 3, 25-16. And all of a sudden, what looked like a pretty lopsided matchup, just enough to keep your interest here a little bit of like, hey, wait a minute, if this thing gets to a 5th set, we've seen how those can go in that sprint to 15.
Yeah, this is, obviously it's gotten a lot more interesting than it was, say, 15 minutes ago. About 15 minutes ago, it looked like, hey, we're going to be packing up. We're going to figure out where we're going to watch the World Series.
Yeah.
But Adena gets out to a very quick start in that 3rd set. Caroline Glandon was outstanding for them, as were all of the seniors. Katie Burns felt like she started to get going, but even then, she only had 4 kills in the set. Their service of J.C. Smith, Kimmy Dalton, and Katie Burns really helped get New Lexington out of system, led to a lot of errors from New Lexington. And then overall, just Adena kind of does what Adena does. They're going to make you make errors. They're going to take advantage where they can find it. But credit to New Lexington. They came with a little bit of life there late in the set to give themselves a chance to build a little more momentum. Now, ultimately, Adena still needs to get this set to force a 5th. But I think Laura Smith and her coaching staff has to feel a lot better than they did after the second. Granted, you say that after they win. But it still felt like their body language, everything just felt better from Adena. It felt a little more like what you're used to.
Well, I thought a big factor was they were able to score the first 6 points of that 3rd set. So let's take a look at how this thing starts, because New Lex is just a team you can't afford to play behind on because they're just going to come at you in so many different ways. Gracie Newland gets a started with a good serve. Burns will swing on the outside. Dug up there. Burkhart will set outside, and it's Baker going cross court. Finds the corner.
Yeah, Baker has had 4 kills now so far, but man, she has come up with some big-time swings at different times for New Lexington, and that gets them a 1-0 lead here in the 4th.
Newland comes back, serves that one long, so even us up at 1. Yeah, you look down through the attack numbers. And, we talked about Chloe Dick right around 4 kills, and then Lena Fink 2.3, Dupler 2.1, Baker's up there in the mid-1, so it's just they spread it around. Dalton on the serve for Adena. Back set Baker, she tips shots, great effort from Dalton. Now Glandon will try down the line, and she finds room for the kill.
Caroline Glandon coming to play here in what could be her last match, playing outstanding so far for Adena. Gives them a small advantage here in the fourth.
Yeah, great lift from the senior for sure. Dalton will continue to serve. Pass on target. Burkhart takes the second ball over and dumps it right in the hole. Ties at 2.
Only her third kill. She's only tried that 4 or 5 times so far with great success so far for the Panthers.
Baker serves. Burns on the receive. Popped up. Burns will follow it in. Wanted to go to the opposite side attack and couldn't. Last minute tried to bump it over and just didn't really get a chance to do what she was trying to do with it, and it's going to result in a new Lexington point. Baker right on top of the tape. Good job by Sowers. Burns will still get a swing and get the kill. And John, I talk about that all the time. Great job by Sowers. It's your job when you're up there at the net. You've got to follow the ball in flight in case that very thing happens. And that's just a heady play from Sowers.
Yeah, outstanding play from the junior setter. Great reaction time as well, and that's why we're even at 3 here after Katie Burns' 11th kill.
Balsard on the serve. Going to be a free ball back over. Chance for the Warriors to attack. Balsard in the middle to Burns. She tips it in the hole right up over top of the block from Fink. It was McCoy trying to dive to keep it off the floor. Couldn't quite do it. Another kill for Katie Burns.
And it's really where she got about 6 to 8 of her kills the other night on those little dump shots.
Burkhart, second ball over. Outstanding. Takes that left hand, and again, if you're not familiar with the volleyball rules, when she's in that front row, she can attack up over top of the net, and she does so with that left hand. When she's in the back row, she's got to do it with the feet on the ground. She can't go above the net. Back set, Burns. Big swing against the double block. Free ball back over. Balsart in the middle to Burns. She'll swing again. This time the double block led by Fink delivers the block for a point.
4th different block that Fink and Chloe Dick have been involved with.
Now it's Dupler to serve. It's Dalton on the receive. Balsart takes the second ball over. Looked like a pancake. Dupler felt like she had it off the floor. Officials do not agree. And we're tied at 5.
Yeah, I thought she got there. It looked like an outstanding effort from Dupler, but does not get the call.
Burns on the serve. Newland on the receive. Burkhart goes outside. Chloe Dick dug up by Balsart. Burns will bump it outside to J.C. Smith, who sends an attack, and Newland digs it up. Now the roll shot, give the dig to Dalton. Balsart in the middle. Jones off the block and down to the floor for the kill. J.C. Jones.
It's going to be her 5th kill. Allie Bossert really coming to play. They've had different players stepping up. Courtney Sowers made a really nice play earlier. That's a couple now for Allie Bossert here in this 4th.
Burns serves it again. Newland right on target to Burkhart. And again, Burkhart just has the spot picked out in the back corner. And picks on it for the second time in about 3 or 4 points.
Yeah, 3rd time overall here in the 4th. And the first couple that she played, she just kind of laid in the middle. The last 2 have been to that same exact corner.
Now it's Binkley. Balsart will go in the middle. Jones will swing again, and a nice swing goes into that back corner. All of a sudden, J.C. Jones coming alive a little bit here early in the 4th set.
Yeah, if they can get Jones going, that'll be a big-time benefit, especially any time that Katie Burns has got to go to that back row. And this has been maybe the most balanced that we've seen from Adena on their attack so far in the games that we've done.
Farrell to serve. Now Burkhart will take the second ball over again, and the 5-1 setter just taking the 4th set over in certain areas.
4 times now in this set, and they've all equal points for New Lexington.
Now she'll go to the back row, so it takes a little bit of that attacking. She can still use the dump. Tough serve. Dalton trying to use the left hand to get it over. Had her chasing too much. And again, Burkhart shows that all-around game, now impacting the set with her serve. Dalton up to Balsert. Back set Jones, blocked in play. Now Balsert will go to Jones one more time. She'll tip it over the block. Dupler's there. Burkhart in the middle to Snedeker. And again, that's the result of Adena not really being able to get on the same type of attack they had earlier. New Lex comes right back in quick system, and Snedeker delivers.
Yeah, Snedeker has been outstanding. Hasn't played a whole lot in the last couple of sets, but a big-time hit there.
Now it's Lee Master on the outside, dug up by Burkhart. Dupler will step in to help her setter. Chloe Dick on the roll shot and up over top of the block. Balser tried to keep it off the floor, but it goes wide. 10-7 is again, you've got the Burkhart continuing to serve. Jones on the receive. Back row to Burns. She tips it right up over top of the block, and I think New Lex was expecting the ball to go more into the front row to maybe Jones, and Adena decides to go back row, and Burns finds a way to deliver a much-needed kill.
Yeah, well done by Katie Burns there. That's number 13 of the game, or of the match.
Sowers to serve. Good deep serve. Brings Burkhart well off the 10-foot line. Baker from the outside. And again, that's that tough serve from Sowers. It brings everything off the net, and everything happens a little out of system, and it results in a tougher swing for Baker.
Yeah, it feels like the serving, or the service game so far for Adena has really gotten going over the last two sets. And that's why they've been much more competitive, winning the last one competitive here in the fourth.
Certainly more confident. Sowers again, Newland. Burkhart just on the 10-foot line. Chloe Dick across court, and nice adjustment. It's almost like what you see in a slide action, where it's kind of like a right-handed layup in basketball, where when they have to chase it down, the athleticism to be able to adjust, and she puts a nice cross-court swing on it.
Yeah, 8 kills now for Chloe Dick, 2 in each of the 4 sets.
Now she'll go back to serve. Sowers, back set. J.C. Smith will try one. Dupler on the dig. Outside, Baker will try to push it down the line. Great effort from Smith. Another great effort from Dalton. Smith will keep it in play. Burkhart, back set Dupler. Wisecup with the dig. Now Lee Master will send the free ball over. Newland looking to go quick. Burkhart in the middle to Snedeker. And a big-time attack. Really one of the best volleys we've had, John. Great defensive effort from Adena as you get used to seeing, but then, man, that attack from New Lex went in system. Really good.
Yeah, just outstanding overall play by both teams.
Dalton on the receive. Up to Sowers. She'll go back row. Burns with a swing off the block and then off the dig attempt of Newland. So, again, utilizing Burns stuck in the back row here a little bit. They're able to go to her a couple times, and now as J.C. Smith goes back to serve, Burns will return to the front row. So, again, New Lex by 2. Could be an opportunity for Adena to go. Smith with a short serve. Now Snedeker tips it up over. Free ball comes back. Burkhart outside. Baker on the swing. Blocked in play, and I think Baker followed through into the net, and it's going to be a violation and a point Adena.
Yeah, excellent work by Adena to keep that play alive, to force the error eventually by New Lexington. As you said, when Burns gets to the front, this is the time Adena has to make some hay.
Smith on the serve. Newland receives up to Burkhart. Back set Snedeker. Off the top of the block, and it kind of ended up, I think Dalton had started to dive to go low on it, and a little bit of that deflection, John, seemed to send the ball up over top of her.
Yeah, that's 10 kills now for Snedeker to lead the Panthers.
Dalton up to Sowers. Sowers on the third, and Katie Burns on a good outside attack, powers it down through the double block. Kill for Katie Burns. Adena within 1. Dalton now to serve. Chloe Dick on the receive. Now it's Fink out of the middle, dug up by Sowers. Glandon will take an outside swing, give the dig to Newland. Outside Dupler now. And Dupler up off the block. J.C. Smith with a great defensive play keeps it in play. Back over to Adena, and they send it into the back corner and just out of the reach. And again, we're seeing some really good defensive effort back and forth, but that ball just finds the perfect spot.
Yeah, just another really well played point.
Baker on the serve. It'll be Burns out of the opposite side attack, and she'll go cross court for the kill.
Feels like neither team can really get much momentum going, just trading points back and forth at this point. So whoever can put together a little run could take this and either send them on to the Final Four or send it to a fifth.
Bossert on the serve. Going to be a free ball over. A chance for Adena to get even in the set. Burns out of the middle, the big time swing and a kill, and we're tied at 14.
And something that she did all night on Thursday, 7 kills in this set for Katie Burns. They've held her down for a good part, 17 now in the match.
Bossert with another serve. Up to Burkhart. She'll try Fink in the middle. Great defensive effort from Dalton. Smith tried to help her back row mate to keep it off the floor, and she's unable to.
The 6th kill for Fink. Almost an outstanding play once again for that back row for Adena. Just a little too much heat on that ball from Fink.
Dupler to serve. It'll be Burns on that receive with the two-hand. Now Jones on the outside. Good defensive play there from Dupler. Chloe Dick on the outside will swing down the line. Bossert keeps it up off the floor. And Jones with the left hand. John sends it up over the net, and that time it's Adena with some good fortune.
Yeah, as you said, both teams have had some fortunate plays so far. That's one of them, but great effort by J.C. Jones to keep that alive.
Now Burns to the back row. She'll be the server. Fink out of the middle, and she delivers the kill.
As we said, neither team really getting anything going, but it's been so well played that neither team can get anything going. So if a team makes a mistake, they're just immediately making up for it on the next play.
Binkley to serve. Dalton. A little bit of a serve-receive error there, and again, New Lex up 17-15. So if you're New Lex, golden opportunity. Burns to the back row. You've opened up a 2-point advantage, and it's a real opportunity to take control of it. Certainly a great opportunity given away there with the service error. So a break for Adena cuts it back to 1 at 17-16.
Yeah, 11 service errors to 11 aces. That's evened up after it was a significant advantage in the more aces than service errors.
Farrell to serve. Newland with a good pass up to the setter, Burkhart. She'll go up to Snedeker. And again, Snedeker, because her ability to just hang in the air, can still pop it up over the double block, and it falls for the kill.
Yeah, maybe not the complete elevation of a Christian Thompson, but the hang time is very similar to the great from Fairfield Union.
Lefty Burkhart with the serve. Bossert back set. Jones. Jones sends one deep. Dupler back sets. Chloe Dick. Give the dig to Burns. Now J.C. Jones out of the middle. Tips it right up over top of the block. And in for the kill.
4th kill of the set for J.C. Jones. Gives her 8 on the match. And you talked about when Burns went to the front, it was pretty much even. And now she's been moved to the back, and it's been pretty much even. Let's see if Adena can take advantage of anything here to try to get a little lead.
Sowers on the serve. Now the back set. Chloe Dick with the swing. Great play from Dalton. Back come the Panthers again. Back set. It's Baker. Dalton pops it up. Burns. Diving effort, but unable to bring it back. And again, a great example of how New Lexington can get so many weapons going at the same time. We're going to get a timeout on the Adena side. 19-17, New Lex. John, we were tied at 14 and 15. Then New Lex got out 17-15, and we tried to trade some points, 17-16, 18-16, 18-17, now 19-17. I think Coach Smith understands the importance of not letting this advantage ever get to that 3 difference, because we're getting deeper into the set. She wants to keep the pressure on New Lex.
Yeah, you want to keep the pressure on them. And really, this has been the first competitive set that we've had. It's been a well-played match from both teams, but it hasn't been competitive. You had 25-14, then 25-12, both for New Lex, then a 25-16 for Adena. This is the first time the team that's going to lose the set has at least 17 points. And this is the first time we've had a really competitive time for a timeout. So I love this from Coach Smith. As you said, you don't want to get down 3. You want to talk this over. Keep your team's confidence high because you've been really competitive. If you can get a little bit of a run for Adena, you have a chance to force the 5th.
John, talk about what you were just saying. Back in the first set, they went from 5-3 to 11-3 with a big run. You know, in the second set, they opened up a 16-7 advantage. Adena opened up a 6-0 advantage in the third. So you're right, this has been a really fun back and forth as we return to action. Dalton on the receive up to Sowers, a bump set. It's going to be a free ball. Great opportunity for New Lex. Back set Dupler. Good defensive play from Burns. Sowers up top there. Looked like Lee Master delivering a much-needed kill. And again, Adena just won't go away. Back to a 1-point match at 19-18, and Burns will return to the front row.
Yeah, the second kill for Peyton Lee Master comes at a monster time for the Warriors.
J.C. Smith with a good serve. Burkhart up to Snedeker. She swings away. Sowers with a dig. Dalton bump set. Wisecup send it over. Now Wisecup and Burns up at the net. Now Burns will swing out of the middle, and she gets a kill. And we're tied at 19.
8th of the set for Katie Burns. And as I mentioned, Peyton Lee Master gets that big set, that big kill. And now maybe with J.C. Smith at the service line, Adena can get something going.
Smith goes with a deeper serve. Newland up to Burkhart. Snedeker out of the middle, and Dalton, the diving effort. And again, that's just so tough in the back row. When a block doesn't get up there to give a little resistance, the back row is just at the mercy there in 2019.
I guess a break now. Snedeker out for at least 3 serves.
Dalton on the receive. It's going to be a free ball. Burkhart in the middle to Fink, and Fink off the block of Burns. And just like that, New Lexington turns the 19-19 tie into a 2-point advantage at 21-19.
Yeah, Fink with 8 kills, now 6 in the last 2 sets alone after having nothing in the first.
Newland on the deep serve. Smith pops it up. And again, going to be a free ball. Well, as they tried to tip it over, I think it was Wisecup tried to tip it over. Fink kind of got in the middle. I think she went up wanting to throw it down. It came down on the New Lex side for a much-needed Adena point.
Yeah, well done there by Addison Wisecup. Just mistimed by New Lex.
Dalton will try to serve a point here to get her team even. Goes with a shorter one. Burkhart in the middle to Fink. Blocked by Burns in play. Popped up by Baker. Burkhart will send it back. Now there's a free ball. Sowers. Roll shot Burns. Burkhart goes outside Dupler on a swing. Give the dig to Dalton. Up top, it's Glandon on the outside, and she tools the block. Well, it falls in anyway, they're saying, for the kill. 21 all. Great fourth set. Anybody's set. One trying to make the first trip to the Final Four in school history. Another one trying to force a 5th set so that they're still in line for their 12th trip. Dalton. Good receive there up to Burkhart. In the middle with Fink on the tip shot. Now it's Glandon will send a free ball over. Burkhart, back set Baker on the tip. Popped up. And again, a free ball back. Defense on both sides up to the challenge. In the middle, it's Fink. Give Wisecup the dig. Now Burns over. It was Dupler. Both teams really struggling to get into system, but the defense continues to keep the ball off the floor. Now Burkhart goes outside Dupler with a swing. Good play from Glandon. Now Burns tip shot over the top. Now Burkhart will dump the second ball over. Popped up there. Glandon will go ahead and send it over the roll shot. In the middle, it's Fink with a big swing. Great defensive play originally from Dalton, but unable to keep it off the floor.
Yeah, really nice overall play there. Glandon doing everything she could to keep that alive, but then Lena Fink with a huge swing to give the Panthers the lead once again.
Baker to serve. Dalton. Now it's a push shot from Burns. Burkhart quick in the middle to Fink. And again, that quick action's been able to beat the block by about a half count. 23-21. Timeout, Lady Warriors.
Yeah, Fink, a slow start for her, but she has really come on, especially in the fourth. She's got 5 kills here in the fourth to give her 10 on the set.
Well,
on the match.
And John, it's no different than any other sport. Pitcher, catcher, quarterback, wide receiver. You know, your setter, hitter, it's all that work you put into it throughout the entire year, so that when you get in these most pressurized moments, you hope that you can be on the same page, you can communicate. And man, when Burkhart and her middles get on that quick action together, the size and the speed that they play with, so difficult for the block to get there on time.
Yeah, definitely impacts the match in so many different ways. All the different things that Burkhart can do. Biggest timeout of the season for Adena. Have to get this point here to keep themselves away from championship point.
Well, John, you feel like all of New Lexington right down here below us can start to sense it a little bit, and they've been outstanding today in their support. Come out of the timeout, it'll be Baker on the line. Dalton, bump set from Sowers, two-hand push from Burns. Now it's outside Dupler, will try a tip shot over the block, popped up. Burns with a roll shot. Burkhart in the middle, Fink with a big swing. And we have reached match point at 24-21.
One of the things that you've noticed so far, Katie Burns hasn't had a real swing in about the last 3 or 4 points. So that has impacted Adena's attack in a major way.
Baker serves it away. Smith on the receive. Sowers tries a back set to Burns, and the block is there. And for the first time in school history, the New Lexington Panthers will dance on the Final Four stage.
An outstanding match from New Lexington. And as you said, for the first time, New Lexington will be playing at the Final Four on Saturday at Vandalia Butler High School. Outstanding for the New Lexington program.
So complete that they come out in the first 2 sets. John, I thought that was the difference. They took control of the match. And when you're facing an opponent of this level, it's so difficult to come from the 2-hole down. Give Adena a lot of credit.
Yes.
They didn't go away in the 3rd set. They didn't go away really in the 4th set. But again, what a hill to climb, and all the credit in the world just has to go to New Lexington, and what a complete roster and overall effort today.
Yeah, just as you said, their roster outstanding. The way they are put together, the way their rotations work has been outstanding, and that's why, you know, their 2 losses, as you mentioned, to Meadowbrook. Meadowbrook, who is on to the Final Four as well in a different division, and that is why when you play those elite teams, why you see them get here, and now why you're going to see them get a chance next week in Dayton.
So we will stay right here. So on your film, if you're watching at home, those schools can see the trophy presentations. And John, while we're doing that, we'll kind of recap. I'll start with a little bit of recap through the sets, and then I'll give you a chance to total up some of your stats, and we'll highlight some of the individuals. So if you look back through the first set today, it was all New Lex from the start. It was about a 5-3 advantage, and then they just took off on a big-time run. They led it 11-3. They would later lead it 20-7. They would go on to win that opening set at 25-14. So then, as you turn the page, it was more of the same in the second set. They go on to win that one 25-12. So at 25-14, 25-12, you felt like maybe it was just not going to be the day for Adena. But to the Warriors' credit, they come back in that 3rd set. They score the first 6 points of that 3rd set. And as a result, they were able to kind of play out in front. They would eventually open up a 10-2 advantage. New Lex did show a little bit of life. They got it all the way back to 23-16 at one point, but Adena was able to score the final 2 points to win it 25-16. The 4th set, as John and I highlighted throughout, by far our most competitive set. of the day. We had ties at 5 and 6, at 7. New Lex went up 10-7. And then they controlled it for a while, but Adena got back even at 14. We were tied at 15. New Lex went up 1 or 2 there throughout the next 6 or 7 serves, but again, the Lady Warriors would not go away. They come back tied at 19. Then we were tied at 21, and then that's when New Lex would take it over. The Panthers would score the final 4 points of the match with that final point, giving them the 25-21 fourth set win, winning the match 3-1 and securing again their first ticket to the Final Four in school history. So, John, I know you have a lot of stats on both sides. I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, and just an outstanding season for Adena as they're getting their awards for it now. You know, it was just a match they didn't get going until the third, and then the fourth ends up being a great great set. But by then, when you're down, you get down in such a big hole, you can't lose the tight one like that. Ends up being a really well-played match, especially that fourth set, as both teams really were in control in the sets they had won before that. But Katie Burns finishes her career, 18 kills for her. She was involved in 3 blocks. She had an ace as well. 8 kills for J.C. Jones, 3 for Caroline Glenn. She was involved in 4 blocks. All of those came in the third. It was just unbelievable the last 2 sets for Caroline Glandon. Did a really nice job. She had 2 kills, including the last point that Adena scored on the season was a kill from Caroline Glandon to tie the match. 2 for Peyton Lee Master, 1 for Allie Bosser in Addison Wise Cup. J.C. Smith and Kimmy Dalton, we don't have the dig totals, but, man, those 2 were all over the court. Katie Burns did a good job in the back as well for Adena. And then their setters, Courtney Sowers and Allie Bosser, both are going to be back next season, along with J.C. Jones and Peyton Lee Master. This is an Adena team. You're going to graduate in an outstanding group, but, man, it's a program that's going to just keep rolling. But, man, what an outstanding senior group that they're going to graduate. Addison Wise Cup, Caroline Glandon, J.C. Smith, Katie Burns, their seniors, won a lot of matches for Coach Smith for their program, a 25-2 season for Adena. And now, for the first time, New Lexington, the Panthers, will advance to the Final Four. They'll play at Vandalia Butler High School, a beautiful facility, next Saturday, as they will play in the Division V state semifinals. And I would guess they're going to have a big crowd over there as well. They were led, without the numbers, we don't have the assist numbers or the dig numbers for Georgia Burkhart. They were led by Georgia Burkhart. She ended up with 6 kills. She had at least 2 aces. I have 5 with the question mark, because at least 5 balls that she served over were not returned. She was outstanding the entire match. In the fourth, she had 4 kills by herself in that, and that was one of those. She really got them going in that fourth.
And just to be clear to people what you're talking about there, sometimes statistically what an ace is or isn't, that's fine, because that's the way all sports are. But what you're saying is the serve led to the point. Her serve was dominant in those areas.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. She was outstanding. Ava Snedeker, only a sophomore, 6'3". She had 12 kills, 5 in the fourth. She only had 3 blocks that she was involved in because they were just never going towards her when she was in the front after that second set. Ava Snedeker was a huge difference maker in this. Lena Fink with 11 kills, another one of those that she didn't have a kill in the first, ends up with 6 in the fourth set. Just outstanding for the senior. 9 kills for Chloe Dick. Chloe Dick and Lena Fink combined for 4 blocks involved in each one of those. Together, 4 kills for Layla Baker. Caroline Dupler had 3 kills, but also 4 aces, and then Gracie Newland with 2 aces as well. Michaela McCoy, very involved for them, and Paige Binkley had an ace as well for New Lexington. Man, they were outstanding all day long.
Well, and you were mentioning the seniors there. Obviously, J.C. Smith's had an incredible career. Caroline Glenn, I thought, played as well as I've seen her play today on this stage, which I thought was outstanding. Addison Weiscup always does a solid job in her role. And then the great Katie Burns, unofficially, John, I was looking back on my notes from the week in preparation for our matches. We'll get the official total out, but I think it's going to fall somewhere 1,420-some career kills for Katie Burns. Just give me, I know you just really appreciate greatness, and you get to know these kids through interviews and so forth. Talk to me a little bit about Katie Burns.
Well, you mentioned 1,400. No Adena player had ever had over 1,000. And then she just completely obliterates that. And that goes to show that what Adena's always been able to do. Usually you're only playing varsity for 2, maybe 3 years, and you're not the go-to person for 3 years. Katie Burns was the go-to person for all 3 of her varsity seasons for Adena. And because of that, she's able to blow through that 1,000 kill mark, gets the 1,400 kills, and is a really humble kid as well. You know, one of those really fun kids to cover because of all the different things that she could do. And, you know, when Coach Smith has a player that special, she'll let you know about it too. And she's talked so highly of that senior. Also, J.C. Smith, another one of those. Just, they're going to miss them. You know, what Caroline Glandon and Addison Weiscup were able to do as well, they're going to be missed as well. But that's where the program for Adena is so strong. And, you know, it's going to keep rolling, but it's going to be felt what they're going to miss from that outstanding senior group.
What I love about the group, too, is how it's team first and team forever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because, you know, it takes a lot of unselfishness to say, hey, we'll just feed her and we'll feed her and we'll feed her. We'll defend, we'll block, we'll serve, we'll do whatever because we just want to win. And that's what it called for on this team. And, you know, dealing with kids as long as I have, I know that says something special about the whole group, that they're always willing to put winning first. I love the way you said that there about their leader. And then real quick here, obviously we need to talk about the winning team today because they're not done yet. They're going to go on to the next level. And John, one thing my wife Beth and I always enjoy doing is taking in the state volleyball tournament. You know how big a volleyball fan I am. And as I go up there, there's a lot of characteristics that jump out at you about teams that compete at that level. And they are teams that are big, teams that are athletic, teams that are deep, teams that have great setter play, teams that have great libero play. And really, if you think about it with me, it'd be check for New Lexington, would it not? And as long as they can go over there next weekend and serve with a little bit of efficiency, I would say they'll find themselves very competitive regardless of who the opponent is.
Yeah, and the opponent's going to be Marion Pleasant.
Now, Lake Catholic, I think, is in the other side of that bracket, who beat Adena last year in the Final Four.
Yeah, whoever's going to play Lake Catholic, have fun. But I mean, Marion Pleasant's going to come in 26-1.
Yeah.
You hear of Marion Pleasant a lot because of their area. It's always strong in all sports. But as you said, size. You've got size across 6'3". You got multiple 5'10" players. Dupler 5'8", plays a little bit bigger than that as well. Same with Layla Baker at 5'7". But then you've got Georgia Burkhart. I think with Burkhart and the hitters that they have, they're going to have a chance against whoever they play because, as you mentioned, they've got size. They really play elite defense at the net, but also their back row has been very good as well. The thing I do worry a little bit is that third set here today, the second set against St. Therese the other day. It just feels like they can get down a little bit for 6, 7, 8 points at a time, and you can't do that at that level. You can't do that at that level.
Yeah.
But if they can play like they did in the first, second, and fourth here today, because the fourth set was outstanding because you just have the two teams just going at each other constantly. Nobody could get a roll until New Lexington at the very end where they get the 4 straight points. They're a team that I feel like is going to have a chance to get to that final. You know, Marion Pleasant's going to be outstanding. but they're going to give themselves a chance when they get over there. And I feel like the way they reacted in the fourth set, especially when they did lose that third, they come out in the fourth and they just went head-to-head with Adena throughout the entire fourth. And because of that, I think that they're not going to let themselves get down if they do have a bad set. And that's going to ultimately give them the chance to compete when they get over there to Vandalia, Ohio. And then hopefully for them, they get to Dayton.
Yeah, I hate for them. I know with the 7 divisions now, they can't get all of the semifinals at Wright State. All the finals will be there, but that goes on rotation, and unfortunately, they just kind of missed the year in terms of that happening. So, again,
now you just got to go win.
Yeah, go win, and you still get that opportunity. So, well, John, with the Dewey Daily schedule today, I appreciate you jumping in and doing with me. It's been a lot of fun. I guess we should say that you and I will have overtime again this weekend, which will be out Monday morning, right?
Yep.
And then this will pretty much wrap up our volleyball coverage for the year. But next Friday night, Carson Francis and myself will be over at Uniota for playoff football. As Uniota had the bye there, and then they'll have a home game.
Take on a very good Columbus East team, 10-1. I don't care who you are, 10-1 at this point in the season. Going to be really difficult. Should be a really fun matchup for you and Carson to call, and then Kenneth
up on the cold camera duty.
Yes.
But at Uniota, I guess we're all in the cold, so it's
yes.
even. It's even for all of us. So
kind of works out in that way. We'll have our last Coaches Call-In show of the fall next Friday night as well, so tune in for that.
You can go on SOSA and find all of these incredible matches throughout our tournament trail. We had our Division 4 here, now these Division 5. We had a great Southwestern Valley 5-setter the other night. Obviously, the call-in shows have the stamps there that they can watch, and, of course, our overtime does as well. So there's just so much coverage. Make sure you, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to that our YouTube channel so that you're always getting all of our coverage. So on that note, we'll go ahead and put a wrap on this. For John Bruce, this is Shane Combs. Final score for the final time. New Lexington beats Adena 25-14, 25-12, 16-25, and 25-21. Congratulations to New Lex, and best of luck in the Final Four. So long, everyone.